Hi, I'm Dr. Matthew Norton, the founder of People Plus Purpose, and this is the Truth Behind Dentistry podcast. And today, my guest is Ultra Oral CEO, Dr. Daniel Sanders. Dr. Sanders is an innovator and visionary in the dental field with over 50 international patents granted on dental oral devices and systems, and has led the development of groundbreaking innovations like the automated TheraSmile topical delivery system, and MavGuard elastomeric intraoral barriers. Welcome to the podcast, Doctor.
Well, thank you very much, Matthew, for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here with you, and I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it as well. So, as we were chatting a bit prior to hitting record on this conversation, I'm excited about your philosophy, as I'm understanding it, from a global health perspective, and just the innovations that you are contributing and a part of moving forward. I think the world desperately needs those sorts of contributions. So, maybe a good place to start is kind of having you explain a little bit about ultra oral, which is your current prime focus, I believe. And then tell us a little bit about the problems that you're solving with ultra oral.
Well, happy to do so. So, first of all, just to your point, for me, it's really important, to try to develop solutions that I feel will democratize wellness because, as a lot of the things that are out there are drugs, and the pharmaceutical
Yes.
companies want to hook you on those drugs and keep
Yes.
you on those drugs forever. So I decided to develop a system along with my team where we're looking to transform global health. And we're looking to do that by providing what we think are non-invasive, highly affordable solutions that enhance the absorption of whether it's nutritional supplements or APIs, drugs, okay,
Mm-hmm.
through the oral tissues inside your mouth. And we're going to do that utilizing our unique, innovative, and patented delivery platforms.
And so go ahead a little bit more. Like what particular, are there particular challenges that you're focusing on? And tell us a little bit more about how ultra oral provides some of those solutions.
Okay, so first of all, we wanted to come up with a way that we could provide a therapeutic window that was significant. Okay, so I first thought, well, I'll put out a mouthwash and or a toothpaste or something, but I realized, how long do you usually keep something in your mouth as a mouthwash? 5 seconds, 10 seconds,
Right,
or
right,
a toothpaste, maybe 20, 30 seconds.
right.
So, I was thinking that, let's try to put uh, as our devices things that will give us a significant therapeutic window. And that led me to the idea of using functional chewing gums or mucoadhesive patches in the mouth, because you can get a good amount of time chewing gum. People can chew gum very easily for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Some people chew gum all day,
Hmm.
but not recommended. But
Right.
and a patch also can be for many, many hours. So we thought of that idea, and we wanted to use as a delivery system, what we call route of administration, something that I know a lot about, and I'm sure you're familiar with, which is the intraoral tissues of the mouth.
Hmm.
There's all kinds of ways to deliver things into your body. So if you want to get 100% bioavailability, that means getting it into your bloodstream, you just inject it with a needle. But that's not something that you want to do on a daily basis,
Right,
okay?
right.
All right. And you can put a transdermal patch on, but the skin on your is really hard to get through. It's highly keratinized, so that's a big issue. Inhaling is also all kinds of issues with that. And the most popular way, of course, is to just swallow a pill or a capsule or drink something.
Right.
But the big problem with that, and people have been working, a lot of companies have spent billions of dollars trying to come up with all kinds of strategies to improve the bioavailability, because what happens when you swallow something,
Right.
it's going to go through your entire digestive tract,
Right.
then it gets shunted to your liver, okay, where it gets metabolized in your liver as well. So you could start out as an example with like a 200 milligram capsule of whatever, okay, something, and what actually ends up in your bloodstream could be something that's 5 or 10% of what you originally started with. So maybe, maybe you'll get 5 or 10 milligrams out of that 200.
Right.
And that I think is not really good value. You're paying a lot of money for these things, and we wanted to try to provide solutions that were more effective and more efficient. The mouth is actually a great place to deliver things. It's got a tremendous blood supply beyond the membranes of the tissues.
Right.
And the real challenge here was to find ways to be able to get through those membranes in a much more efficient and more robust way than has ever been done before. Because right now, and for many years, when you put something in your mouth, unless you can put it sublingually, like a nitroglycerin tablet is a
Right.
classic example,
Right.
there's very little you can put inside a small little pill you can put under your tongue and won't stay there long and it moves around and the saliva. So it's all kinds of issues. So we wanted to use the rest of the tissues in your mouth, and the chewing gum allows us to do that. And the point of what we're trying to do here is to move things through in a much more efficient way with our technology, which is actually a thermodynamic technology. We have formulations where we have ingredients that actually self-heat. Uh, because as you know, one thing that's always in your mouth is your saliva, and your saliva is 97% water. So we've created a unique system where there are two components to the platform, a special blend of them, and they're completely safe and FDA compliant.
Mhm. Mhm.
And everything we have is FDA compliant and generally regarded as safe grass. So
Mhm.
there's no issues of that whatsoever. And when you chew the gum, they get exposed to the saliva, and they inherently just begin to heat up and produce thermal energy. And we've wetted that with these other special materials, which are called PCMs, phase change materials, that start as a solid, and then as they absorb that heat from the first materials, they melt and they phase change from a solid to a liquid. And then as they cool down and become solid again, they release the heat. So as a great example, like, when you drink a hot cup of coffee or hot soup, it's very hot, but it very rapidly cools down. So we've created a system where we generate heat spontaneously through the active saliva, the exposure to the saliva. And we have these other materials so that when we heat it, it heats and then it takes a lot longer for it to cool down. So during that whole period of time, we're able to increase heat, and that's already been proven scientifically to dramatically improve the absorption through the membranes of the tissues and into the bloodstream. So we can treat oral health, and we can also treat systemic health. And as you know, we'll talk about in a moment, the connection between the two of them.
Mhm. Wow, that's those are innovative pathways, right? So a lot of it has to do because I can relate to what you're saying in terms of the challenges of supplementation. There's a lot of times where I have discovered that I wasn't apparently had not been optimally metabolizing everything I had taken supplement wise and discovered, oh, I have this or that need or challenge, and but haven't I been addressing that? And so it makes perfect sense that we need to be smarter in delivery pathways if we really want to. And also I was thinking too, when you mentioned about the challenges with the gut, what is your gut health anyway? So not only you're having to go through that whole system, but if you don't have good digestive health, then that's going to make it even worse, right? So this seems smart to me to use a method like you're talking about.
Yeah, most people are completely unaware that when they take a capsule or a pill or a liquid, that 95% of it is never going to get into the cells, the organs, the tissues, the
Yeah,
cells of their body. So, you're buying something and you think you're getting, oh, I just took 200 milligrams or 500 milligrams.
right.
But really, you're only getting a very small amount of that actually is going to have a therapeutic effect, and a health effect on your body.
Yeah, which is kind of discouraging unless you have a better answer, right? So
Yeah,
it
that's
makes
what
me
we're working
encouraged.
on. That's
Yeah,
what we're working
yes.
on. We found something here. It took a lot of trial and error.
Uh,
And when we first started, nothing worked. Of course, like it always does, nothing ever works at the beginning. But we overcame a lot of challenges, and we have now, what we feel is really significant value for the health conscious consumer. Very affordable, easy to use. You can chew it for 5 or 10 minutes, and you're going to get a dramatic benefit from it over taking it as a pill or a
Yeah,
capsule.
yeah, that's awesome. So let's pull back just a little bit and have you share with us a little bit about your general treatment philosophy. So moving back from the specifics of delivery and all of that.
Sure. So you alluded to that. I'm a big proponent of the idea that, it's better to treat something upstream at the source than to go all the way downstream at all the symptoms of the disease. And in particular, it's something that's become more and more accepted and understood that there's a very significant connection between your oral health and the oral microbiome and systemic health.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, there are specific pathogens in your body which are extremely hard to kill, like P. gingivalis, Porphyromonas gingivalis, and others of the red complex. And they do not remain in your mouth. Particularly when you have chronic periodontitis, gum disease, periimplantitis, uh, they translocate through the junctional epithelium that has been compromised in the chronic inflammatory disease.
Mm-hmm.
They go in through the bloodstream and they'll go right up to your brain, and they actually know how to disable the blood-brain barrier
Mm-hmm.
and then introduce their virulence factors like their gingipains and the lipopolysaccharides into the brain, which then triggers an immune response by the microglial cells that are in your brain that are there to protect your brain. And that creates a cascade that leads to what's called neuroinflammatory infection in the brain. And that's been directly tied with a lot of different forms and types of dementia, as one example.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's obviously involved in systemic diabetes. There's a comorbidity there as well. It's involved in chronic kidney disease. It's involved in rheumatoid arthritis. There's just so many areas in which the oral microbiome is actually a key driver of chronic inflammatory disease. And we're coming to understand in general in medicine, not just in dentistry, but in medicine, and dentistry is part of medicine,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
And which we're coming to understand that there's a significant chronic inflammatory process that is driving a lot of chronic disease
Right.
in the body.
Yes.
And if you can disrupt that
Yes.
process, we believe that we can have a significant impact on people who are suffering from these diseases for decades and are hooked on all these drugs and which they can't get off.
Yeah. And going kind of at the furthest point upstream, then we're looking at the gut, but then we're looking at the oral microbiome. Would you, from your perspective, do you see the oral microbiome then being primary, even upstream from the gut microbiome? I know they're intimately connected, but is that meaningful to look at that distinction?
Well, there are specific pathogens that are in the oral microbiome. You've got about 700 microorganisms in the microbiome. Most of them are what we call commensal. They're healthy,
Hmm.
but there's a bunch of them that are not, and they're really, really hard to kill. So, like you take, a lot of the oral health care products that are out there, if you want to use that term, healthcare for them, and they just blanket kill everything,
Right.
and you end up actually skewing the population of the oral microbiome, and the ones that are harder to kill end up being a larger percentage, and because the ones that are easier to kill are the good ones, and the ones that are
Right.
harder to kill are the bad ones.
Right.
So you
Right.
end up actually in a dysbiotic state by doing that, and you're actually harming yourself a lot of times by taking a lot of these standard mouthwashes that are out there. So, but to your other point, you're swallowing all the time your
Yes.
oral microbiome into your gut.
Right. Right.
So, it's not like they're separated from each other. They're
Yes.
intimately connected, as you say, to each
Yeah.
other. The gut microbiome is much larger than the oral microbiome. And, it's a larger system. You've got the stomach, you've got the small intestine, you've got the large intestine.
Right.
So there's a lot there, and there's a lot of different types of subpopulations within each of the different parts of the digestive tract when we talk about
Right.
the microbiome that's in your gut. So there's a lot of different things that are there. I'm particularly interested, just a little off topic, but There's a material called butyrate. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a resistant starch. And there are certain foods that are out there that uh, have a lot of those short chain fatty acids in them, and they are only digested in in the large intestine. So anything that can promote the good bacteria, both in your mouth and in your gut, will have very far-reaching, significant implications as far as your overall systemic health.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. So, for everybody who's aware that systemic inflammation is a major problem, not optimally addressing the oral microbiome is
Yeah.
problematic for sure. So tell us a little bit about your kind of your first product lines and kind of a little bit more about how they work. I know you've given us some of that already, but maybe amplify that a little bit more.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, our first product is called Ultra Perio, and it's for treating periodontitis, gum disease. And we've got in there some, as opposed to what you normally see in the market, selective antimicrobials. In other words, we're targeting the red complex, P. gingivalis and others that are in the red complex, where those are late colonizers of the plaque that forms in the mouth, and they become highly pathogenic under certain conditions, anaerobic conditions, because they're anaerobes, the gram-negative anaerobes. So we're looking to do is to disrupt those particular microbes, because if they're allowed to take hold in chronic disease, then they actually subvert the immune system in your mouth, which are the neutrophils. That's your first line of defense in the mouth. And they'll actually get them to start producing something that breaks down actually the pocket and makes it worse. So we're looking to try to go at the source there and to reduce their pathogenicity without harming the commensal healthy bacteria. We also have some very powerful antioxidants in there, and we have other materials that disrupt the inflammatory process that's involved in everything we just talked about. And by doing that, we believe that we can go to right to what's at the very heart of chronic inflammation in the mouth and treat it effectively.
Wow, that's it. This has been long in coming.
Thank you. So that's our first product. Our second product is something that I'm very interested in because I know quite a few people. Unfortunately, as I'm sure are aware, there's been an explosion of dementia
Yes,
going on, and that's
yes,
because we have an aging population,
yes,
but also because of UPS, which are ultra processed foods, which are
yes.
like 60 or 70% of a lot of people's diets in
Right,
America,
right, right.
and they're just nutritionally, terrible for you.
Yes.
And they're big drivers to dementia as well. So, besides obviously improving your lifestyle, we're looking to provide these functional chewing gums that are thermodynamic that will push through a lot of active ingredients. All of our formulas are based on a very, very unique gum base where we're able to load 6 times what you normally would find in a gum. So
Wow.
we're able to put a lot of material in there, and we can then deliver that in a very efficient way. So in this second product, which we call Sherpa, I just like the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That product is to reduce pro-inflammatory cytokines, generally interleukins,
Hmm.
and to promote the production of anti-inflammatory cytokines. Also to improve memory recall, both in the hippocampal and prefrontal cortex of the brain,
Hmm.
and to promote something that's very important for health, which is sleep and reduction of anxiety.
Hmm.
So those are the things that we're looking for as a package. Along with we have a selective antimicrobial ingredient as well, like we have in the Ultra Perio, where we're going after those, like we talked about, the pathogens in the mouth that are going up to your brain and getting into your brain. So we have a nice package there for the Sherpa gum, and those are our first two products. We're working now actively on three new products as well. One of them we call Ultra Bio Pro, and that is for weight loss and for treating a metabolic syndrome and diabetes, which are also very correlated, as we just talked about
Yes,
before,
yes,
to the
yes.
other two products. And we've got a product for improving mental performance we call Ultra Smart. And we have a product that is called um, actually, we're going to be looking into putting out some vitamin supplements too. For example, one that I'm working on right now is for coenzyme Q10, which I know I think
Hmm.
you may be familiar with. It's
Hmm.
very involved in mitochondrial, ATP production.
Hmm.
And it has terrible bioavailability when you take it as a capsule,
Hmm.
usually 3 to 5% if you're lucky. So we're looking at it to put it in a gum and just have you chew it and put it in, and that way energize the mitochondria in throughout your body.
Well, you are not being shy about this. You are going straight into some of the biggest health challenges that the planet is facing. So I'm very hopeful that
Thank you.
that the word will get out and people will be able to access this, and that you can make a significant impact because those needs are obviously there. And so far, it doesn't look like we've done a great job with a number of these things. They just keep increasing. Of course, we have, as you mentioned, the forces that work against with big big food, right? That just keeps wanting to try to kill us. uh,
Yeah.
so it,
Yeah.
it it
Big
requires.
food, big pharma. Big pharma is directly connected to big food.
Yep, yep.
And as you know, there's a lot of products that are out there that unfortunately, are uh, have tremendous side effects to them.
Yeah, yeah.
And things that, just don't really provide what people really need. And that is what we're hoping to provide to them, which is a sugarless, all natural, highly potent, highly pure active ingredients that we can deliver in an effective and efficient way and a non-invasive way.
Hmm.
So the idea is, you can chew your gum at home on the
Right.
go,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's it. So
yeah.
it's easily readily accessible,
I like it.
and it's really quite inexpensive.
Yeah.
It's highly affordable.
Those first two products are already available.
No, we're about to put them into the market. We're now right now we've partnered with our partners we have a production facility in high.
Okay.
It's really a state-of-the-art facility in Germany,
Okay.
and we're now gearing up to produce our first products, and so we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
And then the others will come out. We have a pipeline and a schedule for the next 5 years for our other products. And
Okay.
really, there's so many things that we can do. Somebody was pushing me now to do it. I'm looking into maybe also putting in some probiotics into there and do that for the gut health that you were talking about.
Yes. Yes.
So there's this it really is just sky's the limit as far as
Yes.
the applications for the system. And I will be on February 19th, I will be at the Dental VIP Summit in Chicago. So anybody that might be there, I was invited there by Darius Samekian, and I
Yes.
met with Dr. Marty Jablow. I know you know both of them very well.
Yes.
They're co-hosting the event, and Darius was very kind to invite me to come. So I will be there. I'll be attending, and happy to see anybody who sees the podcast and might be there
Yeah.
to come and to speak with me personally.
Yes. Yes. Well, I hope that we intend to get this message out as far and wide as possible, and hopefully many people will be there to meet you. So, looking
Great.
forward to that. Are those first two products likely in 2025 available? Is
Yes.
that kind of the plan? Okay.
Yeah. We're actually now going through a process. We have a lot of suitors that are interested in investing in the company. They understand the value of the company, so we're building up our war chest as far as manufacturing
Hmm.
and putting marketing and putting product into the market because that's really important for us.
Yeah.
And looking also for key opinion leaders to come on board. We already have a couple, but we're looking to expand that. And so those are things that are within the immediate future of the company. But yes, we expect the second half of 2025 already to put the first two products into the market and test market them in the United States.
That's great. So you kind of mentioned a little bit there as far as key opinion leaders and certainly ways to contribute or to come and be a part of coming into Chicago, meeting you, getting more knowledge about all of this. But what other ways might our listeners participate in what you're doing?
Well, follow us as far as what we're doing. I'll be putting out. We're going to be mounting a campaign. Actually, Darius is going to be involved with that with me. We'll be mounting a campaign and we'll be broadcasting out to a lot of people where they can engage. And of course, we'll be setting up. We've been up until now in what I consider to be semi-stealth mode, where we've
Right,
been very quietly doing our work.
right,
I don't like the fanfare, but we're already now getting close to the market. So now we're starting to reveal, some of our things that are out there, and we're starting to broadcast more, widely what we've got. And we've been met with some very significant interest. By multinational health tech companies. We have a generic drug company that's interested in possibly licensing our technology for their products, and others as well who are very interested. So we're actively looking for investors, of course, and we're looking for KOLs as well. And we're looking for anybody that's willing to come on board and to share our vision and come along for the ride because it's going to be a great one.
yeah, sounds exciting. I'm excited just meeting with you and
Thank you.
being able to have this conversation. So for everybody who has sparked an interest there with what they're hearing you say and about the products and getting involved, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, you can reach me through my LinkedIn profile. That's usually the best way to do it. You can also reach me through my email, which is drdaniel at ultraoral.com. So you can just shoot me an email. Happy to talk to you. We will be putting out a website as we get closer to the market. That'll probably be sometime towards middle of second quarter of 2025. But until then, you can reach me through my profile page on LinkedIn, or you can, of course, just shoot me out a direct message through my email. Happy to respond, happy to engage and talk with people and discuss what we're doing.
Great, that's great. So as we wrap up, a final message for our listeners?
Yeah, sure. Look, we're looking to do something here which we think is highly significant, and that's to provide, as we said at the beginning, non-invasive, affordable solutions that are easy to use, that don't have any real side effects to them whatsoever, and that will have a significant impact for consumers who are focused on longevity and improved quality of life. And we hope to be able to provide products that they will feel are a great value to them in promoting that.
Great. Well, I just appreciate your time. It's very
Thank you.
nice to meet you. I look forward to all of this rolling out and seeing the impact that you can make. And I certainly, alongside Darius and some of the others that are involved, Darius has a very big network of people. I consider myself blessed to have him as a friend and collaborator. And so I just look forward to being a part of this in whatever way I can.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you so much. Darius, I agree with you. He's just a wonderful guy. We immediately hit it off. A very real person, and
Yes.
so I feel very, blessed that we came in contact with each other,
Yeah.
and now we're collaborating with each other,
Yeah.
and we're looking forward to a lot of great things together. And of course, very interested in staying in contact with you. You're a really wonderful fellow, and like to have you be a part of our story as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I believe that you've been fascinated by the conversation as I have. So we've been with Dr. Daniel Sanders, the CEO of Ultra Oral. This is Matthew Norton and Truth Behind Dentistry podcast, and tell your friends have them subscribe. I hope you subscribed and look forward to seeing you on the next episode. And go see Dr. Sanders in Chicago. Thank you.
God bless. Be well. Good to talk to you.